hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad, and this is Storytime. Happy Monday, guys. I am happy to be here. Sorry I'm late. Today I had yet another, what do you call that thing? Physical therapy session on the shoulder. I'm coming along. I think I still get numbness and tingling in the hands, especially after a weekend of shoveling snow. We got more snow yesterday, and I'm done. I'm so done with the snow. The snow is bullshit. I don't like it. I don't like it anymore. No. And I think I heard somewhere, I think on the weather report, we're expecting some more snow. Yay. No. So yeah, so it is a happy Monday for some folks who are living in Tampa, and not such a happy Monday for other folks who are living elsewhere. And we'll get all into that when we cover the stories of the day. Stories of the day. Well, this was a disappointing weekend for many folks, but some were hoisting the Super Bowl trophy. The commercials were good. Commercials were pretty funny. I did enjoy many of them, most of them. We're going to talk about the push for the $15 minimum wage. I think it is important. And last but not least, the impeachment trial, second one of Donald Trump. And in today's You Raggedy Bitch, I got a word or two for the referees. Yeah, seriously. Look, this is not sour grapes, spilt milk, or whatever you might think it is. Yeah, I was a little salty about the way the game turned out, and you know, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the better team won. Unfortunately, that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't take anything away from, you know, the running backs who did their job, those wide receivers. I don't care about Gronk, you know. And yeah, Kansas City, way too many penalties. You know, some of those were self-inflicted injuries, but god damn, I hate seeing Tom Brady hoist that trophy, and you can't help but feel as though, I hate to say it, but you know, you can't help but feel like the fix was in. You know, like, did they really want to see Tom Brady play in the Super Bowl and not win? I don't know. You know, some games, all it takes is one or two penalties to swing the momentum in the exact opposite direction. Jen Murphy says Todd Bowles shut down the KC offense. I don't even know what to say about that. I think he might be right. I was just really disheartened. But before I go further, I want to know: do any of you guys are you guys familiar with the saga of the Gorilla Glue Girl? If not, unfortunately, I ran out of time to produce the video, but it's a young lady who was doing her hair, and usually she uses some kind of spray that helps her hair stay in place. well, apparently she ran out of her usual hair adhesive. I'd never heard of anything, but whatever. She ran out of this stuff. Maybe it makes it shiny and stays in place. But she used Gorilla Glue, a spray on Gorilla Glue in her hair. And yeah, okay, so now you can't now you can't get it out. I mean, Gorilla Glue does advertise. That's like that Crazy Glue stuff. It's like Crazy Glue. And I'm not here to clown on her. She's obviously humiliated, a great deal. But again, she posted that on social media. So, you do stupid stuff. You post it on social media. Don't expect people to don't expect everybody to be like, "Oh yeah, I understand." No. You sprayed glue in your hair. You sprayed glue in your hair. So I hope this is a teachable moment for all those young ladies out there who are looking to do something extra fancy with the hair. I see you guys talking about, some folks are talking about a lawsuit. I believe, is she suing Gorilla Glue for her not having read the read the can? The can would tell you, don't use this shit on your hair. Don't use it. Don't do it. It makes no sense. I don't think she's going to win that lawsuit. I could be wrong, Karen Purdy says she thinks she sniffed it first. They had to, Mile High Beauty says they had to cut her hair off, so now she is bald. That's not such a big deal. I saw other videos where a friend of hers, I think was a friend of hers, was trying to apply acetone to remove the adhesive from the hair. And it was burning her eyes, obviously. You're like, now you're just compounding the awful. That's a tragic, horrible story. And, on one level, it's kind of funny, but it really isn't, our youth, man. And you know what? I don't even think she's that young either. I think she might be 30 or her early 30s or something. That's too old to be doing stupid shit like that. Man, that's for your young 20s. That stuff. You do that kind of stuff, but whatever. I hope she her hair is going to grow back. LN says cut it, will grow back. Yeah, hair grows back. Sylvia says that. Yeah, Gorilla Glue. Do not use it in your hair. Maybe they need to make a new commercial. Like, don't use this product in your hair or in your eyes. Do not ingest it. I mean, come on. It's common sense. Common sense. I don't even like to get glue on my fingers. When I'm applying glue to something, like when I was trying to fix my glasses, I got the tiniest bit of glue on my fingers by mistake, and I was like, where's the alcohol? It's immediately. I don't waste time with that. Anyway, okay, so let's get into this Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, it wasn't just about the football. Excuse me. I mean, it is, but it's also it's an annual tradition that, folks who aren't even football fans, they tune in for the big game because it's a huge production. There's a halftime show. The commercials are super duper expensive, and these are like the greatest minds of Madison Avenue advertising agencies. They spent a lot of time, energy, and money on these ads, and some of them were really, really funny. Some not so much. But then, of course, there's also the sport, the football aspect of it. So here we go. Let's start off with the opening. Oh, damn. So this is all out of sequence, this screen show. So I'm going to wait until she passes because I had something queued up I'm still getting the hang of this. All right, here we go. So we have her, who is performing America the Beautiful. And then we had Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church, two folks who I didn't know. Great job on the national anthem. And then, as a bonus, we got Amanda Gorman, who it seems like she makes everything better with her poetry and, her, how can I say, her poise. She is incredibly poised for such a young lady and highly intelligent. And I would like to recommend that she is at all major events, whether they are sporting or political. A new car dealership is opening, have her there. She's fantastic. And I'm so happy that she's getting the recognition she deserves. All right, so now let's ease on into the game. There were some good things to note, like, for instance, the first ever female referee was there. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Yeah. And then we had Patrick Mahomes, everybody had big expectations for this game. We're enthusiastic. Kansas City won the coin toss, and then they opted to defer to Tampa Bay, and they get the ball in the second half. And then when we all saw Tom Brady, there was obligatory boos from the entire family. Only Rainey didn't boo. Harrison Butker scored the first points of the game. It was a field goal. And then, when it looked like things were looking up, we should have been like, stop the counting. 3-0, we win. I don't know what happened. We had 3 points. We were ahead. And then, so there was some things with the refs. So, some of these calls I thought were questionable. Okay, you could say that Kansas City was holding a bit too much. This penalty that Tyrann Mathieu got, the honey badger, I didn't think that was called for. That penalty was bullshit, in my opinion. I don't know, but the refs inserted themselves into the game and potentially changed the momentum, changed the outcome of the first half. They drained all the momentum away from Kansas City and gave it to Tampa Bay, and then I was grumpy by halftime. But at least we had some funny commercials, like this one for M&M's. M&M's, this was sorry commercial. I'm sorry I called you Karen, but my name is Karen. I'm sorry your name is Karen. We had the Four Seasons Total Landscaping commercial from Fiverr. And this one was really creative for Tide. They had Jason Alexander's face on his hoodie, and they used the music. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Just leave a message at the beep. And it was, this was from that episode of Seinfeld. And let's see, what do we have after this? That was clever. They kept changing the expression on his face. There was lettuce on the hoodie, and it gave him that face. Samuel Jackson got eaten by a shark, like for Verizon, like what happened in the movie Deep Blue Sea. That was funny. And Shaggy did his It Wasn't Me thing for, I believe that was a Cheetos commercial. And then moving right along, there were some other commercials, but frankly, like after halftime, I was so bummed out. I was so bummed. I stopped watching altogether. I just waited until the very end when I saw confetti, and I was like, oh, I cannot watch this. But then the halftime show was interesting, I thought. It featured The Weeknd, who is a very talented singer. He's got a great, amazing voice. I didn't get what this jockstrap mask whole thing was. I had to look it up, and apparently, he is making a point about how people in Hollywood like disfigure themselves for other people's approval, and that was the whole thing behind the mask. But it was an okay thing, but it definitely wasn't like the best Super Bowl halftime show. It wasn't a Beyonce and Bruno Mars, performance. That was legendary. It wasn't even a Bruno Mars performance. I went out and bought everything this young man had done after I saw him at that halftime Super Bowl. It definitely wasn't a Prince performance, that's for sure. That's all time. And then Michael Jackson, forget about it. It was definitely nowhere near Michael Jackson. It wasn't even Janet Jackson, which she got a lot of crap for that show, but that was entertaining. It was. And they shouldn't have blacklisted her for the Nip show. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's a family show, but it was such a big deal. Come on, Americans are so uptight about the nipple. It's so uptight. We have no problem with showing mayhem and murder and violence and people getting their head turned off, but God forbid you show one of the most beautiful things God has ever created, the nipple, and people lose their damn minds. That's my opinion. But yeah, I thought the Weeknd was fine. He did a nice job. It was visually engaging, and I didn't know any of the songs that he was singing, to be honest. I'm not that old. I know these young performers, right? But when Prince was up there, I could sing along, and I could sing along with Michael Jackson. And frankly, even though I didn't know all of Bruno Mars's music, I knew quite a bit of it. So I think the next time they should have somebody who has more hit songs do the halftime so we can sing along. I love to sing along. And then, yeah, after halftime, this was pretty much me. I talked so much smack about Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes was a very good sport, as you knew he would be. He's a classy guy, all around, good sport. And yeah, this was the part I caught by mistake. I looked and I was like, damn, eyes burn forever. And then after that, I was just grumpy as hell. The rest, I tried to fix it by watching a little bit of The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. That's interesting because I like the movie with Denzel. I love the movies, plural, with Denzel Washington, The Equalizer, and she seemed to do her thing. I didn't get to watch all of it, but the snippets I saw, she did her thing. At the end of the day, look, Tom Brady, he's got 7 rings now. 7 rings. So he's the undisputed, most ring having quarterback of all time. You can't argue with numbers. I just wish this dude would retire already. Just get the hell out of here. And we don't like him mainly because he's a Trump supporter. Mainly. Also because, he's a dickhead. He's a dick. I just don't like him. All right. So let's see. Where do my notes have me now? I have not looked at my notes one time yet. Oh, let's see. Wait, I got to fit one of these things in. So At the moment the moment that I realized that the game was out of hand and then there was no chance for Kansas City to make a miraculous comeback, my reaction was pretty much you can't help myself. At least once per show, you get that dun 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 screen. Once per show, guaranteed. You gotta fit it in at least once, and on a good day, maybe 2 times. So I posted earlier about the minimum wage, and my tweet. I'm gonna read it to you. Going to read it to you on my Celio phone. All right. It says, you never hear people saying that buying billions of dollars in weapons that will never be used is a drag on the economy. But somehow, the Congressional Budget Office thinks a $15 minimum wage to lift people out of poverty is bad. That's it in a nutshell. So today, excuse me, the CBO said that the $15 minimum wage proposed to be enacted by 2025 was going to result in the loss of 1.5 million jobs, but would also result in lifting 900,000 people out of poverty. These are people who need to work 2 or 3 jobs, sometimes just to make ends meet. These are the people who are often described as food insecure. These people are the forgotten, the ones who slip through the cracks, the ones that we don't even realize how much we rely on them. Many of them are our quote unquote essential workers, but they're not essential enough to rate a $15 minimum wage. Come on. I mean, seriously, that is not enough to survive in many cities and states. Fortunately, and here I've got a picture here of the F-35, which is also described as a $1 trillion mistake by the Pentagon. You know, they're throwing billions and billions of dollars at the Pentagon, often for equipment that they don't want and that they don't need. And fortunately for the 99%, we have Bernie Sanders fighting against the millionaires and the billionaires. He's in charge of the budget committee and he's going to do things. Look, see this mitten? You can get it like this if you have a $15 minimum wage, but not so much if you don't have that minimum wage. Luppy Girl says, my husband, 20-year retired Navy, is listening. Hey, and agrees with my observations. Thank you, Luppy Girl's husband, and thank you for your service, sir. Sir. Solid Blue Sister says, a lot of small business owners may not be able to afford $15 per hour. Unfortunately, people may not be hired. This is a good point you bring up, Solid Blue Sister, and might I add, you always bring up the good points. Most of this audience here is top-notch intellect. You guys are plugged in. You guys are teaching me often. These are excellent points. And what I think the government needs to do is offer incentives to businesses, not just shove the $15 minimum wage on them and say, yeah, you deal with it. No, make an incentive, make it worth their while, offer them tax credits for not laying everybody off, or even more tax credits, in fact, for bringing more people on. Let's jumpstart this economy. It's going to require effort from everybody, give or take, but it's 2021. It's 2021, and they're not talking about doing this like tomorrow. They're talking about 2025. So, you know what people need to do is start planning ahead. What am I going to do when I have to raise the minimum wage that I'm paying my employees? I can no longer pay them $7 per hour. Believe it or not, one of my former coworkers was making $7 an hour. And my boss was proud of that. He chuckled about it. Yep. So, a lot of these employers, they're going to get away with whatever they can. Let's see. Just admitted. What is this Rising Spark up to? Let's see. Is this a troll? Oh yeah, absolutely. He's asking, why can't you stand white man being better than you? Well, I got news for you, dude. Um, White man is not better than me. Nobody is better than me. Nobody is better than anyone. Although I could probably say that I'm better than you. I probably could safely say that. Um, this is the kind of shit that, let's see, should I report him? I don't have time to report him, but what I will do is put him on timeout. Let's see. Yep. And as a bonus, we're going to hide the user on this channel. Then he can leave my peeps alone. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, he is a bigot, Deborah, indeed. Yeah. Nobody's better than anybody. Millionaires are not better than the poors. Billionaires are not better than the millionaires. But I have to amend that. We are better than the bigots and the racists. That I can say. That's indisputed. Indisputed. Because if you are in fact better, then why do you need to employ devious means to keep other people down? If you're so much better, why? Let's look at Donald Trump, right? If Donald Trump was so much better than President Biden, why did he need to employ so many dirty tricks? He did that whole thing with Ukraine, trying to get dirt on Biden. Then he actually tried to dismantle the entire UPS. Then he told people, don't vote. Then he tried to do an insurrection at the all this stuff. If you are that better, let's do this straight up. If Tom Brady is so much better than every living quarterback, then why did he need to employ devious means such as Deflategate or Bill Belichick spying, stealing signals at the Spygate? All right, let's compare it. I love analogies. That's another analogy for you. That's free, no charge for that analogy. Anyway, I got away from this whole thing on the $15 minimum wage. When I was a kid, we were poor. We used to use food stamps because my mom did not make enough to feed us, and this was before I even knew there was a stigma about using food stamps. I didn't know that yet because everybody in my neighborhood was using food stamps, right? It was no big deal. Now, thanks to President Reagan and his invention of the welfare queen myth, people are ridiculed and stigmatized by it. But whether you realize it or not, those food stamps, that is yo money. Yo money. Your taxes go towards that. If you happen to hit hard times, and you know what? These are hard times right now. These are hard times when people losing their jobs. There's still 10 million people who lost their jobs. There are millions of people on food lines right now, food lines for miles waiting to get a handout. Straight up. It's nothing to be ashamed of because shit happens sometimes. That's what insurance is for. Because shit happens. They could change the name of insurance to shit happens. You know what I mean? So do people want to use food stamps? No. You know, they don't want to starve either. And there's this myth, that when they talk about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, you know what? Everybody doesn't even have bootstraps. There are people who were born without bootstraps. They were born into poverty and the culture of poverty, and all that shit needs to change. It's not just about handing people checks and not giving them any proper guidance or training to get themselves out of that cycle of poverty. You just give some folks a check and no means to get on out of there. The bootstrap shit is not as easy as it sounds. It's not. And some people are never going to get out of it. And on some level, that's how they want it. They always want, they want there to be massive numbers of people who are poor, who are uneducated, and will continue to keep those people in power. That's what they want. Here, Aaron just says, nobody is born with bootstraps. You buy the boots and then you buy the straps. It's just a question of whether or not you have the money to buy them or not. Aaron Davis, thank you for that. Thank you. Anita G says, Paul Ryan despises people who receive food stamps. Yes, this is true. This is true. Most people despise Paul Ryan. So folks who make less than $15 per hour, they are right there on that starvation line, and they can't just stay there, I understand the arguments about employers not being able to afford giving all that. But hey, maybe you just got to raise your prices a little bit. Inflation is coming anyway. It is coming. I hope you guys know that. Prices have been extremely low for a very long time, and they're artificially low for a long time. They're going up. Trust me. Gas prices are going to go up. Oil is going to, all that shit is going up. But meanwhile, people have to make more in order to spend more. And when they spend more, that shit goes into the economy. And that's how you rebuild the economy. Give people some money just to inject into the economy and we'll be roaring again. Yeah, but you just can't keep grinding the poor until they have nothing left, because then they have nothing to lose. And people who have nothing to lose are very dangerous, angry kind of people to have around. That's when shit goes sideways. All right, let me move right along to the impeachment trial, which is starting tomorrow. This is big. There are House managers that filed the House impeachment managers who filed a brief today. And that brief was brief and to the point. Only 5 pages. That Those House managers include Jamie Raskin, Diana DeJet, David Cicilline, Joaquin Castro, Eric Swalwell, Ted Lieu, Stacey Plaskett, Madeline Dean, and Joe Neguse. They called Trump's incitement a frontal assault on the First Amendment. Will Trump be president? Likely not. Likely not. They also blasted him for a dereliction of duty. None of these things that they're saying are lies. They rejected the notion that he wasn't given due process of law because, they stated that he immediately rejected the notion of him telling his side of the story. Immediately. He was like, nope, no, thank you. I don't want to do it. And in conclusion, they said he has no valid excuse or defense for his actions. So what we're going to be watching over the next week, maybe week and a half, possibly longer, if we have witnesses, absolutely think there should be witnesses. And there's no reason why we can't have them. We couldn't have witnesses in the first impeachment trial because, as we remember, Mitch McConnell refused to have witnesses or documents in this thing. I think we should have both. And I think it's an empty threat. Lindsey Graham saying, well, if they want to have witnesses, and it's going to go on mighty long. Yeah, okay. Why would you even argue against having witnesses and documents? That's stupid. You have a trial. In a trial, you have witnesses. You just do. That's part of the law. That's law 101. I'm not even a lawyer, and I know that. That's some dirty shit. You don't want to have witnesses. What they don't want is a parade of people going in there saying, President Trump invited us to the Capitol. He told us to. Oh, thank you, Sinsanity. Sinsanity is reminding everyone to please thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button on this broadcast to like it. And I thank you for that. I always forget. What was I saying? I was talking about that. Oh, yeah. President Trump told us to come. We were guests of the president at the Capitol. He told us. He said, you got to fight. So I brought my AK-47 and a few pipe bombs. That's going to be a nightmare for them to deal with. This is the second impeachment trial in a row where they are attempting to defend the indefensible. So what they're going to do is they're going to attack the process. They're going to try to attack the constitutionality of impeaching him after he has left office. It's bullshit, He was in office when he committed the offense. That's like saying, if I'm an employee of a bank, all right, if I work at a bank and I do some kind of inside dealing with somebody on the outside and I'm like, slip them some cash. Yeah, slipping because I work at the bank. I slipped you the cash and you got out all right. Now I'm leaving. And then as I left the bank, then you found out that I did that shit. And then you're like, hey, you got to go to jail. Well, I'm like, hey, but I don't work at the bank no more, huh? So you can't prosecute me for, doing that inside shady shit because I don't work at the bank anymore. That's bullshit. They're going to throw the book at you and you will be in prison. And because that's the law. And the law has to apply to everyone equally, no matter what position you have, no matter what your social status is. That's it. I don't care if his millions of supporters are butthurt about it. I don't care. Because you know what? We are all incensed and furious. They keep talking about, oh, well, you can't unify because all these people will be upset. Yeah, what about us? We won. We won the election. Huh? We have the power now. This is not about being vindictive. It's about ensuring that there are consequences. Because you know what? If there's no consequences now, there's going to be consequences later. And you know damn well if the shoe was on the other foot and Democrats attempted to do some kind of insurrection or coup, this would have been a wrap already. This would have already been a wrap. So that's right, Asmila J. Hui Juan. Hui Juan. So it's starting tomorrow. I'm not sure what time the impeachment trial is starting. It's possibly 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. I will be watching. I got to figure out what time the thing starts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I move on to you raggedy bitch, just a note, Really American is dropping another video tonight. It is called Vote to Convict. I believe we've already dropped it in the middle of my show. I have not had a chance to retweet it because I'm doing the show. But when you see that video, please do me a favor, hit the retweets. Oh, okay. So we've got this. Did this guy come back under a different name? He says he's better than me because he's white. So that is Grandmaster Jackass. That is actually the definition of racist. That is the definition of racist, which automatically makes you better than no one. I think I need to report this one. Let's see. Hate speech. Yeah, hate speech. That works. Report. Okay. Oh, that poofed him out of the broad. Oh, okay. My buddy, a Really American, says, no, we haven't dropped it yet. Dude, I didn't even know you were watching. That's all right. Okay, wait, let me get back so I can see myself on the screen. All right, so I was on impeachment and I got sidelined by racist Jackass. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Really American. They're in the house. Give them a shout out. Give them some love. Give them a follow. Yeah. Hi. All right. So now it is time for you raggedy bitch. So as I mentioned earlier, today's raggedy bitch is brought to you by the letters F-U-C-K. No, today's raggedy bitch is about the referees. Those goddamn referees. Now, look, I understand there's an important role that the refs play in the game. They ensure that the game is played fair. They ensure that it's safe. Like, I didn't see any deliberate shots to the head last night. Those are dangerous. They cause, I think it's called CTE, the concussions. Very dangerous. So, the refs, they keep the chains moving. They ensure that whatever dispute there is between Team A and Team B, the referee is the impartial observer. That is their role, to be impartial. Now, my problem with the refs wasn't actually so much yesterday. It was yesterday, but it started in the conference finals, right? Between Kansas City and Buffalo. I was kind of rooting for Buffalo because it's New York, all right? And, I saw a whole lot of holding that wasn't called. That was not called. And then all of a sudden, I guess they were saving up all those holding calls. They're like, wait, let's just get Kansas City in against Tom, and then we're going to tie his shoelaces together so that he can't do the magical things that he does all the time. Granted, again, Tom Brady played his ass off, but it just seemed like the refs, they drained all of the momentum. All the calls were against Kansas City. I didn't see one call against Tampa Bay. Is it that they are that disciplined? I don't think so. I don't like to be sour grapes, dude, but I've been watching football since I was just a wee child, since I was a little kid. And this was very one-sided officiating, in my opinion. So you guys keep the game safe, referees. You referees keep the game safe, but don't be a tool of the man to just artificially give Tom Brady the damn Vince Lombardi trophy. That's bad football. We don't like it. Yeah. Lisa Straw says bad calls throughout the game. Noel B says KC just sucked. I can't. I'm finding it difficult to disagree with you on that. But as part of me wonders, is it because the Kansas City kind of was frustrated because they felt the officiating was going against them? I don't know. How do you act when you feel like the game is rigged against you? Do you storm the Capitol? Thousands of people stormed the Capitol because they believed that the election was stolen. Now, I can guarantee you there will not be thousands of Kansas City fans storming the NFL headquarters. They won't be doing that because they have better sense. But tomorrow begins the trial of someone who incited that kind of bullshit, and he must be held accountable. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, all right? All right? That's my tough guy voice, all right? Kimberly Moss disagrees with you and says Kansas City did not suck. Corey Lord asks if Brady is an overhyped alpha male too. Yes, however, I hate this guy. I hate him, but his talent is undeniable. Could he be overhyped? Yeah, but 7 rings. It's really hard to argue with 7 rings, no matter how much you dislike the guy. 7 rings is 7 rings, Whoops. Shh. All right, guys. Thank you, Bernadette. She likes my great tough guy voice. Now it's time for the littlest president. The littlest president is available on BrooklynDeadDefiant.com. Oh, this is my Fat Tony and Jen voice. Lady OTL. It's also available on Amazon.com, right? If you want to get it on Amazon.com, forget about it. But if you want to get it on Brooklyn Dad Defiant, then you get some good shit there, right? You get this real fancy handwriting. Look at it. The guy, he's fancy. Yeah. He's a fancy pants guy. He's got the signature. It's all swooshy and whatnot. All right. And it says, we won. I don't know why the guy pronounces it we won. That shit is stupid. It's we won, all right? It's not we won. It's we won. All right. The Littlest President is starring. Oh, wait. I did figure out a solution for this. Hang on. I think I mentioned earlier that I was going to do the lights brighter. Ah! All right. The Littlest President is starring President Barack Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Joseph R. Biden, and the R stands for ready to kick that ass. Whew. Bladder Bear pooping, holding the puppet strings on Spanky McDumbass. Complicit Barbie, Rudy Giuliani, Gummy McJuicebox, Kellyanne Conjob, Stephen the Snake Miller, and Mitch McTurtle McConnell. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Did I? So when I reported that dude, is he somehow still in our space? Was that not sufficient? I mean, I should have put him on timeout first, I guess. I'll figure it out. And now it's time for our favorite page, because this, damn it, is Spanky McDumbass. Oh, wait a minute. He's back again? What is his deal? Dude, what is your deal, man? Right now, you're being an asshole. Hate the president so much, don't you? Actually, no. I don't hate anybody, but I really despise people who just want to take a dump on people having a good time. Like, nobody asked you to come here, dude. Here, hide. Let's see. I think I hid him. Grandmaster Jackass was hidden by Brooklyn Dad Defiant. Okay. That's it. Did I finish my whole thing? I feel like I didn't. Was I in the middle of it? Say, oh, yeah. Spanky McDumbass is sad. He used to be rich. He used to be a businessman. He used to be a TV star. He used to be the littlest president. He used to have a Twitter account. But now Spanky McDumbass is in jail. How did he get here? Let's go back. Yes, let's go back, shall we? And let's see. If I remember correctly, where we left off, we left off at Spanky standing triumphantly in front of the Russian flag. Okay. And so now he's in the Oval Office with a bunch of Russian people. Excuse me. After it was announced that Spanky won, he didn't take any steps to stop Russia from attacking America. In fact, Spanky doubled down. He invited him to the Oval Office. He fired people who warned him that they were attacking. He fired people who were investigating the attack. He even publicly said he believed Putin had nothing to do with it because he said so. Spanky did not care that Russia attacked America's elections because they helped Spanky win. Spanky was a Russian asset. He's also a Russian asshole. There he is being embraced by the Russians, and there is Comey and Sally, damn it, Yates, leaving the Oval Office, and there's Kellyanne Conjob on the couch. For the next 3 years, Spanky did not spend any time trying to win over voters who didn't vote for him. And you know what? This is another reason why he shot his own damn self in the foot. He never tried to expand his bubble. He never tried to appeal to any other voters. Joe Biden attended the funeral of Officer Sicknick. You guys know this, I'm sure, right? Officer Sicknick voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not attend the funeral of Officer Sicknick. I would say fun fact, but that's not a fun fact. That's just a fact. Instead, Spanky spent his time trying to steal Americans' health care, giving the rich massive tax breaks, starting ridiculous trade wars, locking babies in cages, violating emoluments, obstructing justice, coddling Nazis, inciting violence, insulting allies, golfing. Spanky was bad at presidenting. And you can see there, he is golfing, and back there, you got some Nazis doing the old Sig Heil to him. There's some guys bringing bribes, and there's Stephen the Snake Miller in between several cages filled with children. Indeed. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, all right? What? Amanda Crawford says she tweeted Trump shot himself in the foot in regards to voting by mail and got put in Twitmo for it. That's crazy because that's a saying. She's not even suggesting that he shoot himself in the foot. That's stupid. Boy. And you know, it had to be a Trumper who reported you. And why is Twitter like not parsing the meaning of what you said? This cord for the microphone is forever wanting to wrap itself all the way around my foot. It's a very long cord. All right, guys. Do you have questions for me? I got time, since I started so late, I got time only for these 3 questions here. Karen Purdy is asking, where is Stephen Miller? I don't know, Karen Purdy. I don't know. Oh, Really American is sending us a reminder to the hashtag is hashtag vote to convict. We're going to be dropping this video shortly, and it's going to be fire. So make sure you hit that retweet and like button on that video. Okay, let's see. Victorina says, so he had the officer who voted for him, and many domestic terrorists didn't even vote. Yup, this is true. Oh, Stacey Mendenhall is suggesting that the algorithm picked up the words shoot and Trump. There it is. You got to be careful with some of these things. Yeah. And yes, Corey Lord, that is the hashtag. Lexi Zeladon is asking if I've seen the Super Bowl commercial. I saw at least a few dozen last night. Not sure which one you were referring to, but we did cover that a little bit earlier. The Super Bowl commercials. Linda says Rudy is wacky on Twitter again. When is he not wacky? Rudy Fuliani. Stacy wants to know, how are the kittens? Them kittens is good. They're eating. And well, let's see, which one is it? It's Kobe. Kobe's the one with the bad leg. That's not going to resolve itself anytime soon. I mean, hopefully, maybe it does in the future, but we might have to make some tough decisions on that. Solid Blue Sister says, thoughts. I think Mitch and other QGOP will vote to convict because it will be their last term in the Senate. Do you agree? That makes me happy thinking of the possibility of that happening. Just earlier today, we learned that one of the senators from Alabama is retiring. He's not running for re-election in 2022. Could happen. I mean, that would just blow my mind because right now my expectations are very low. They're like, I'm shouting, from the rooftops, we have to vote to convict. But in my heart, I'm like, they're probably not going to vote to convict. But you never know. It could happen. It could happen. You don't know. All right, guys. That is my time for today. The time have expired. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, a.k.a. Brooklyn Dad. If you have to go out, please be safe. Make sure you wear your masks. Plural. Two masks. Now it's 2 masks or a double thick mask, whatever. One of those. Is it an N95? Whatever. The super safe ones. Wear some gloves. Throw them on. Don't be ashamed. You're being safe, especially if you're going to the supermarket. Why would you want to put your hands on that bar that everybody's touching? Yeah, I know. Sometimes they spray down the handle, but you don't know if it's been sprayed. Gloves. And keep your social distance. 6 feet or better. And have a lovely, relaxing evening. I'll see you guys here tomorrow. I will be back on time. Knock on wood. I love you all. Peace.